Section 3.2, example 8, finding the domain and range using toolkit functions. So find the domain and range of f of x is equal to x or 2x cubed minus x. And using the toolkit function, let's go ahead and grab this over here. Toolkit function is just what, if you've taken this class before, it's what we call like our parent function. So we're just going to grab the data of functions that we already know and using that to help us figure out what the domain and range of our current function is. So looking at this, if we were to just look at the highest degree, we have x cubed. So it's not going to be our constant function. Let's scroll up and see the next function. So this one is f of x is equal to x, not going to be that function. This one is our absolute value of x, so it's not going to be that function either. Next, at the top, we have our x squared function. So close, but still not quite. We're looking for x cubed. It looks like it's going to be this one right here. So x cubed. So that's this same graph with a couple of shifts and translations. So let's see. So figure 17 for the cubic function f of x. F of x cubed, the domain is all real numbers because the horizontal extent of the graph is a whole real number line. So what they're saying, as you go further and further left, you're able to plug those numbers in. As you go further and further right, you still have values for those two. So our domain is going to be from negative infinity to infinity. And from there, the same applies to the vertical extent of the graphs. So the further and further right you go, the further and further up you go, further and further left you go, further and further down you go. And the domain and range include all real numbers. So because of that, because we prove that the domain and range for f of x is equal to x cubed, so this function without this here and without this, these properties still apply to this function here. We proved it for the toolkit function, so we could apply it to this function that we have here. And now from here, we just have to state that. And we're done. So domain is all real numbers, or we could say from negative infinity up to infinity. And the range for this function is the same from negative infinity up to infinity. And that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, bye.